Yeah, not a 3-in-1.
No.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of third wheeling here. I don't know if I'm third wheeling or I'm with mum and dad. I'm just at the back like.
It is giving that a little
Trying to let myself back into the villa or.
I know, what a way to go.
A lot of people in the villa are making me side-eye them, and I don't know how I feel, especially about Elma and Ekin-su. I think like there's too much theatrics when it comes to the two of them. I think they're over-dramatizing their reactions to anything that's going on in the villa. And then to the producers, when we hear people discuss something once, we've heard them, we've understood them, we need to move on. We need to move on. We can't be having Ronnie and Harriett speak about the same thing 200 times. We've already understood it. There was issues in their connection and that's it. We need to move on. It's time to move on. And the dumping, I'm side-eyeing a lot of people because it doesn't make sense. So with one dumping, we've got rid of 3/4 of the ethnic minorities. Make that make sense? Make that make sense? Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island All Stars, Season 2, Episode 14. Someone in production is really having an amazing time at Ronnie's expense, because why are we making him work so hard? Even Fitzgerald Grant didn't work so hard for Olivia Pope on Scandal. Oh my God. So Ronnie was outside, obviously, because he felt some type of way about Harriet saying she's not in love with him. But he understands why she said that. Anyway, you have Harriet being consoled by the girls. So she's got Grace, Elma, side-eye, Ekin-su side-eye, sort of trying to console her and trying to sort of cheer her up. I love the fact that Harriet has grown. She's grown a lot of emotional intelligence, because they were telling her, oh, you know, for someone who's 24 years old, you're handling it very well. You know, you're doing what's best for you. You should do what you want and not put up with anything else. And so as she walked off, she said, you know, these girls are amazing. They're telling me what I want to hear. They're telling me what I want to hear, not what I need to hear. And so I love that for her, that she's recognized that Ekin-su going behind her back and saying stuff to Ronnie is sort of trying to sabotage whatever she has with Ronnie. So she has to be smart and make sure that in whatever she does, she doesn't give them the power to sort of use anything she says against her and her connection with Ronnie. So I love that. Ronnie finally sat down with the guys and he's saying to them, you know, I was sad because she said she's not in love with me, but I understand it will take time for that to grow, to get back to where it is. And then Luca is like, oh, do you think the two of you are good for one another? Yes, they are. They know each other very well. How many times have we heard Harriet ask Ronnie, how are you? What's going on? No. Even when he started the conversation, she said to him, you're not in the best frame of mind to start this conversation. But he wanted to start the conversation, so she had no choice but to sort of humor him and go through the conversation. And what happened? He erupted, because emotionally he wasn't ready to hear what Harriet had to say. So he erupted because of that, and it hurt his feelings. And so I think Harriet is good for him. I think he's good for Harriet as well. Yes, if he can tone down his, you know, wandering eyes that are always here, there and everywhere, and he can turn off the turbo, they will make an amazing couple. You have Kaz and Montel. Kaz and Montel seem to be doing very well. They seem to really like one another. You have Montel catering to Kaz's every whim. And it's like, girl, if you love it, I like it for you. I'm happy for you. While they are sort of chatting, because you have Montel carry Kaz to the fire pit, and then they're sort of chatting and they're just enjoying themselves and each other's company, Kaz receives a message. And it says, Islanders, tonight the Hideaway retreat is open. Please choose a lucky couple to spend the night together. Hashtag D&D, hashtag alone at last. And so people were sort of looking and sort of side-eyeing. I think no one wanted to offer themselves up. And then you had Ron sort of scream out, Gabby and Casey, Gabby and Casey. And it's like, Casey's happy. He has another Islander to add to his collection of Islanders that, you know, he's done whatever he's done with. And people were criticizing, you know, Kaz when she called him out. And it's just lived up to the title. He really has. So he gets ready. He's excited. He gets ready to go to the Hideaway with Gabby. Gabby's excited to be going to the Hideaway with him. And it's like, I don't think Casey is the person you want to go to the Hideaway with. But it seems they're more respectful with, you know, All Stars than they are with New Islanders, because we did see them get dressed and they went to the Hideaway. And once they were in the Hideaway, we sort of saw them, but they went under the duvets and they were sort of just talking and flirting. And once lights went out, that's it. They cut away from them. And it's like, wow, I wish you afforded, other islanders as much respect as you afford the All Stars, because it seems when they have some special guests, even with Joey, Essex and Grace last season, they didn't show us anything. But anyone else, it's a field day for the producers. They have to show you every single bit. So, hey, if Gabby likes it, we love it for her. So you have Grace go for a conversation. Well, they're on the terrace with Luca, and I personally am still puzzled as to what's going on between Grace and Luca. I don't know what she likes in Luca. I am on the same page with Montel that this is not her type. Make it make sense. She seems to be more physically intimate with him than she was with Ruben, though. That says something. So whether she likes him because he's got a bit of spice or whatever it is about him she likes, I don't know, because I think he's younger than her. Grace, I thought, was 27. I don't remember her age. And so I don't get what she means by, oh, I'm more open to you. I'm more trusting with you. I'm more happier with you. Well, let's see if her type walks in whether her head won't turn. Is she saying that because she wants to keep him sweet? Because she's worried that if his head turns or if he decides to leave, she's on her own. Make it make sense. Maybe she might prove me wrong, but I personally don't understand what it is exactly that she likes about him. We barely get to hear their conversations. We will occasionally hear them speak, but that's it. So I don't know. Anyway, the islanders go to sleep. You have the people in the Hideaway doing what needs to be done in the Hideaway. And then in the morning, everybody wakes up and they're sort of asking questions. Well, you have Ekin-su asking, what do you think they did in the Hideaway? And it's like, Ekin-su, it's none of your business. You mind your own, they will mind their own. You don't need to know what they did in the Hideaway because they're adults who are consenting. So whatever they do, hey, it is what it is. So you have Casey and Gabby come out of the Hideaway. They are ecstatic. Gabby is smiling ear to ear. And it's like, okay, as long as you're happy, we're happy for you. Hopefully this works out for you. Hopefully it's not a joke for Casey because this is what he loves to do. While they're chatting with everyone and sort of talking about their experience, they refuse to say whether or not they were physically intimate. Curtis receives a text message. The message says, Islanders, it's time to put on your best fit and get ready to leave the villa as you are off to the exclusive All-Stars party, #Vibe Club, #WKDO%. And it's like, wow, is it 0%? I don't know. I've never had that drink. And so everyone is ecstatic to be leaving. And it's like, why do people get excited when it's time to leave the villa for a party or when they get a party? Because we all know someone is about to be dumped. We all know someone is about to be dumped or a bombshell is about to be dropped in. And so the idea that they would all be ecstatic about this doesn't make sense to me, knowing the history of Love Island. It says to me that someone is about to be dumped and I don't know who. Anyway, you have Casey. He's ecstatic. He's having a conversation with Naz and Curtis and is telling them that he really enjoyed himself in the Hideaway. It gave him an experience of what life will be like after they left the villa. So that was very good for him. He said he doesn't want to blow his own trumpet. And so they're sort of trying to suss out. He's trying to say they were physically intimate without saying they were physically intimate. He's asked, are you closed off? And are you both closed off? And he just said, we're both on the same page. And then he danced around it. He didn't say anything. I don't know whether it's because he doesn't want the producers to come and break up his couple or whether he seriously hasn't sort of decided to close things off. Gabby is sort of speaking to Elma and she's saying she had an amazing time. She feels like they're in a very good space and things are very good. And it was nice to be away from everybody else and see what life would be like. And it's like, we all know Casey's history. We all know his reputation. The idea that she's that ecstatic doesn't make sense, given the fact that he's saying that this was the best he's felt in all his Love Island career. And it's like, Love Island is a career for you. Okay, I guess it makes sense. For you, it's a holiday. Every year you go for a holiday and then you go back to work or you go back to sort of looking for islanders, whoever you've met, to see who you can make your next conquest. You have Curtis sort of talking about the fact that he is really liking where things are going with Ekin-su and he can see things growing, further. And it's like, who are you selling your relationship to, Curtis? Please tell us, because we are not buying it. You're not that naive that you think Ekin-su would be serious. Ekin-su is not serious about anything except for money. And she wants to leave the villa as the most popular islander and having won the show. So the audacity for you to think that you're on the same page with this woman, I see tears coming. They mock, obviously, Naz for the fact that he's a slow burner. And Naz is saying that he's decided to be a fast burner. And it's like, well, it's a bit too late because Catherine, I think, would rather be single than to try and go back to you and try and, explore something when she had the time of day for you. You were not ready. You have Elma sort of moaning begrudgingly about the fact that, I'm happy that Harriet's here because she's shown me the truth, because I really was here for love. And so now at least I know where I stand, and I would have wasted my time. And it's like, please you're not a victim. You're not Ronnie's victim. Ronnie was exploring a connection with you week 2. It's not like you'd been together for months. So don't make it a big deal, please. Okay, someone needs to speak to the producers because this is getting boring. They are now milking the Harriet and Ronnie situation for all it's worth. We've seen enough, we've heard enough, we don't want any more. Allow them to rekindle their connection. We can all see that Ronnie's crazy about this girl. The fact that he's declaring his love for her on TV for everyone to hear and see means that he's serious. He's not playing stupid games. And so they are made to sit down and rehash this conversation. Harriet brings up the incidents where Ronnie cheated on her and how she felt about it and how she felt betrayed. Ronnie's sort of trying to make amends. And one thing about Ronnie that I can honestly give him credit for is ever since Harriet came in, he hasn't changed what he said. He's always stuck to, I really developed, as soon as you walked in, my feelings for you came back. I realized how much I missed you, how much I still cared for you. I am sorry for everything that I've done. He's apologized profusely for, apparently it seems like he cheated on her when they first got together. I think after people leave the villa, there's a transition that takes place. Even Dami said it. And if you're not careful during that transition stage back into real life, most people, that's when they break up. And I think this is what happened to Harriet and Ronnie. They were struggling when they sort of went home because they didn't know whether they were serious. Ronnie maybe was still not sure whether he was ready to be in a committed relationship. And Harriet was ready. And so this is how things sort of went awry. And apparently Harriet did her bit as well. I think Harriet didn't want Ronnie to bring it up on camera, so they didn't bring it up. He's always going to do anything that makes her happy. He said he wants to treat her like the princess that she is. He wants to make her feel special. He wants to make her feel like, he knows she's the one. And it's like, I love this for Harriet. I really do. I really do. For her to have someone who's declaring his love and affection for her is amazing. Given how she was treated on season 11 and the fact that she had Kieran sort of mocking her, saying that you're always number 2. So to have Ronnie constantly shouting out loud that I really love you, I care about you, I want us to explore our connection, is really breaking down her walls. And I think it's changing a lot of opinions for people, because once they sort of say goodbye, Harriet just storms off. I think someone keeps whispering in her ear, make him work, make him work, maybe make him work, because she just hugs him and storms off to Ekin-su and Catherine. Finally, we get to see Catherine 30 minutes into the episode. Seriously, I don't get it. And you have Ronnie go and chat to the boys, and to the boys, they're now agreeing that, yes, Ronnie really likes this girl. Even everyone, Kaz, Elma, they're all saying Ronnie really loves, Harriet. And it's like, if he says he does, then give him room to prove, to show that he doesn't. Allow Harriet to make up her mind. For Ekin-su to try and say, oh, I've been betrayed before. Ekin-su is trying to make herself relevant. She's trying to sort of knit her story to other people's stories. The fact that she tried to make it seem like someone has cheated on her. I can see Davide going, you liar, you fake actress, you deserve an Oscar. Because the fact that she tried to sort of insert herself into Harriet's story doesn't make sense to me. This is Harriet and Ronnie's story. You tried to break them up by gossiping, and suddenly now you're there consoling her and telling her that she has to put herself first. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. I love that she's wiser now. I love that Harriet is able to see the BS and she's able to sort of take what is relevant to her and leave everything else on the table. I'm here for that. So you have Maya Jama arrive, and she reveals that the public have been voting for their favorite islanders, and they've decided on the top 2. So the top 2, we are told, for the girls is Alma, and for the guys is Luca. And it's like, make that make sense. if you're going to tell us something that makes sense. Don't just tell us stupid stuff that doesn't make sense, that's very irrational, because we all know, in my opinion, the reason why they made these people the top two, well, they said Luca for the guys and Elma for the girls. And it's like, Luca was breaking down, and I think he was threatening to leave, and this is why he's been made a favorite, so that he thinks he's doing very well in the villa and he stays in the villa. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. For Elma, because of the Ronnie situation, they've decided to sort of, give her this as something to sort of cheer her up. These are sympathy votes. They're not votes because we feel that they're the best islanders. They haven't been the best islanders, in my opinion. They haven't been the best islanders. So we're then told that there are 4 people who are in the bottom. For the girls, it's Tina and Kaz. For the guys, it's Naz. Surprised? No. Montel, I am actually surprised. But then I'm also not surprised because of the way people have been dragging Kaz for reasons best known to the producers, because they have given a negative edit. Kaz didn't need Love Island. Love Island needed Kaz, because at the end of the day, Kaz has already won the challenge twice. She's won the challenge UK. She's won the challenge World Star. So she made more money there than she could have ever have made on winning Love Island. So she didn't need to be on Love Island. I'm happy for her that she's gone. She can at least get away from the stress. And now let's see what actually happens, because they've made her the villain of the season. My worry is with Kaz being dumped, if she is dumped, is the fact that now Catherine is at risk of being turned into the villain, because there's no way they're going to turn any of the other girls into villains when Catherine is there. So any slight mistake that she makes, they're going to make her the villain, because Kaz was made a villain for no reason than the fact that she was exploring a connection. She didn't need to win the show. 25K is nothing compared to what she won from the challenge. I'm sorry. So Maya then instructs Luca and Elma to go and sit down and have a conversation and decide who they want to dump. Apparently, it's only one islander who's going home. It's not a couple. It's only one islander. This tells you that they wanted to get rid of Kaz. They were tired of Kaz. They were tired of the Kaz storyline. They were tired of making her the villain. This is why they wanted to get rid of her. Because if they had said a couple, then Kaz and Montel could have been saved. But because they didn't want to save Kaz, this is why they said 3 people need to go home. Because there was no way you would have justified saving Kaz and eliminating the guy she's getting along with. So in my opinion, that decision to make Tina stay and be safe was something that was already preempted by the producers, because you had Luke when they came back, he gave Naz a look and Naz's face dropped, because I think it was a sign to say, no, you're going home. So they must have been told who to dump. And it doesn't make sense to save Tina, because Luca knows that this man has been saying he's not feeling her like that. So the idea of saving Tina doesn't make sense, because she's not in a couple. She's not in a strong couple. You're better off saving Naz so that he can explore a connection with somebody, because he hasn't had the opportunity to explore a romantic connection. His connection with Catherine was a connection of convenience, because it was the viewers that coupled them up. So it doesn't make sense why we save Tina when we know for a fact that she's in a couple that's not working. She might as well have gone home. So you have the 3 islanders dumped. Tina goes back to the villa with Luca and Elma starts crying again. Elma's using tears for sympathy. As far as I'm concerned, she's using tears for sympathy, and I'm not buying it. So you have Scott immediately jump up. Oh yes, I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you're here. And then he's telling Luca, thanks bro. Thanks for what? Thanks for what? For saving her when he knew that you didn't like her. Make that make sense? He knew you didn't like her romantically, but he saved her for you just so you could be in a couple, because he feels guilty about your fallout the other day. That's the impression that I get. Anyway, you have Tina's crying, Elma's crying, and it's like, why are we all crying? We did what we did. Poor Catherine is now the only person left in the villa that looks like herself. And so I hope this doesn't give them enough reason to make her the villain. And she needs to move cautiously, because they are going to try and make her the villain now that they've got rid of the person that they had made the villain. You have Maya having a conversation with Kaz and Naz and Montel. And poor Montel, every time he comes into the villa, he doesn't last long. I think it's because he's very reserved and very laid back. And So people tend to find him sort of boring, but I don't think he's a boring person. I think he just needs to be comfortable. And I think he's drama free. This is why maybe they don't vote for him. I don't get how he didn't get votes. And yet people like Scott, who were misbehaving and were being out of order, were actually voted up for above him. Make that make sense? In my opinion, they wanted to get rid of Kaz, because had they saved Montel, then people would have been forced to save Kaz. So they wanted to get rid of Kaz, and this was their justification. She spoke about her connection with Ronnie, and then she spoke about her connection with Montel. She said they're going to explore that. And Naz said, maybe his Mrs. Right is in the real world. He feels like he's third wheeling. And it was really sad. Montel, he was always eyeing Kaz from the moment he walked in. So he says they'll see what happens on the outside. And I really hope they work. Because Kaz comes across as a very, very nice and very sweet girl. So I hope she and Montel are actually able to make it work and actually give it a good go. And hopefully they'll, build something that will be amazing. I can't wait to see what happens with them. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 13. Bye guys.